So here's what I'm talking about, that Tammy's are a step up. This one actually is a step card on it. So look at that. It's so pretty. So it's definitely a stand-up card. So it would mail in our normal envelopes. And then, you know, it's definitely one of those mantle cards, right? So it's going to look like a cute little forest when it's all said and done. And then our second card that we're going to make this week is a gift card holder. So that when you pull it up, the holder just slides on up with it. All right, so let's first go ahead and we'll make the modern Christmas card one here. What the Coast to Coast series, what we did is we highlighted two different designer series paper, the Modern Christmas, as well as the Christmas Traditions, Tags and More specialty designer series paper. But basically it's the garden green and red plaid and tags and all of that stuff that's in that one. All right, so it's those two color palettes. And so let's go ahead and we'll make this card first. So this is a little different series than what my normal YouTube videos are, where I put the information, the directions up on the screen. During the series, I won't be doing that because it's the PDF and the measurements, written measurements, are exclusive to either the newsletter subscribers or those that got the class. And so I will be giving the measurements. You'll just have to write them down. They won't be up on the screen though. All right. So you still get them. It's just not in the format that you're used to seeing from me. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece of Mossy Meadow. This is our 11 by 4 1/4 piece of Basic Black. The Basic Black is 9 3/4 by 4 1/8, and it's scored along the long side at 2.5 and 4.5. Our Modern Christmas designer series paper, 4 by 5 1/8. We have two other strips here. This is going to be 2 1/4 by 3 7/8 and a 7/8 by 4. And then we need some scrap pieces of Mossy Meadow for some die cutting. And then our basic white is 5 1/4 by 4. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll put this together. So our Mossy Meadow, just go ahead, you can either score it at 5 1/2 or fold it in half. And then on our Basic Black, what we're going to do is have the large panel, the fold panel here on the top, and we'll fold it away and then fold it towards. And that's going to give us our step. So these are not equal as far as the size on it. So you can see that it looks like that, but that's going to give it its kind of unique properties and lean backs on that. So this is a little different score mark than what I've done in the past. All right, so we'll get our adhesive of choice. I'm using liquid glue. I love the sparkly side of this paper too, but we purposely tried to give you looks during the series of using both the gold side of the specialty Modern Christmas designer series paper, as well as using the other side as well. I'm sure Tammy was thinking, since you have the trees, we're going to have the tree background on it. Awesome. So the back panel gets that. And then if we fold it up, the front panel's going to get the polka dot. Get that going. So that's going to go right here on the front panel. All right, and then this whole back side here is going to go on the front of our card base. So when it's closed, you do have this little overhanging gap, okay? And that's to be expected. All right, so we're going to put that down. Get that on here. Tammy used 1/8 of an inch and, step downs instead of 1/4 of an inch. So if you're used to following me, you'll notice that there'll be a little smaller border around the edges of those. Okay, so we've got that. All right, so on the inside, we are going to use the Merry Christmas, and that is from the Ornamental Christmas stamp set. So we got the Merry Christmas, and we're going to stamp that in our Tuxedo Black. We're going to stamp that towards the top of our our basic white layer. You hear me almost say whisper white? That was back in the day, right? We had that for the longest time. Okay, and then we have our little 7/8 by 4 strip, whichever side that you want down on it. We're going to put the tree side to kind of repeat that pattern. Put that down towards the bottom. And then this layer is going to go on the inside of the card. And if you have a little bit here, I've got a little bit of paper hanging over. It's always kind of a nice little check. I never get too worried about that. I just trim those off. Okay, you can open this up, and it's going to go on the inside of our card base. Get that in here. Okay, so that's our card base, and then it's just a matter of decorating. Ahead of time, what I've done, just for the sake of the video, is that you're going to need 4 of the Christmas card trees that are stamped in Versamark and then heat set with the white embossing powder. And then we're going to take a piece of, of scrap Mossy Meadow and do our Wishing You Peace and Joy. Same thing. We'll heat emboss that with a white embossing powder. So what I like to do is go ahead and angle cut this first. And I'm going to put that down towards the bottom on the polka dot with some Stampin' Dimensionals, which are 3D foam dots. We'll get those down. So part of this series is that if you can get the PDF, which is free with a $50 online order from me during the course of the series, if you're on my newsletter subscribers, or I should say, anybody that places a $50 order, you can get the 12 card PDF, and it's so good. I think it's so good. And then or if you want to get the kit, there's still time to do that. You would get all 12 of these cards, plus plenty of paper and other goodies to complete your look. Okay, we're going to take 3 of our trees and put them here on front. I'm going to take one of them to be the center, and I'm just going to put adhesive down on the bottom. Because when these are folded up, we need all of these to, we don't want any adhesive on the upper part of them. And so I just kind of start with the center one. And then on 2 of them, we're going to put some pop-up dots on it. Get our dimensionals. Get those. So as you can see, this card goes together once you have all of the trees together, or trees done. We did this in person at my studio here in Kendallville. The local gals had a chance to get the class to do local, and some of them chose to stamp this in black, and it was really to do the trees in black, and that was good. That looked really nice. Then we're going to take one of the other trees and I'm just going to put that down on the inside. a nice little carry over to the front look. Right. One last thing to do is to put our gems on. Get our traditional sequence and go ahead and get maybe some of the smaller ones. We're going to put on the top of all of our trees. Add the gold. Then we'll pick up a couple of the other gold ones so that we have 5 total. Look when it's closed and standing up on that. Whoops. And then if you want, you can put one here on the inside of it too. And there we go. So cute, and it stands up, so it will look like this when it's sitting on the shelf. Super cute. When you would go to mail it, as you can see here, it does extend a little bit. Just fold it up like this and you'd be all set. All right, let's go on to our card 2. This card, I've got all of the stamp and die cutting done ahead of time just to help move the class along a little bit. So be focusing just on the construction of it for the most part, since there's so much stamping and die cutting. All right, so for this card, we are going to need, like, the mechanism of the gift card is a piece of real red cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11, and this is scored at 2 7 1/4 and 7 3/8, and then a piece of crumb cake, and the crumb cake is 3 5/8 by 6 1/2, and it's scored at 1 3/4 and at 6. Some other pieces that we're going to need. I've got, you're going to need scrap white for all of the die cutting. This, the stamping and die cutting for the elements. We're also going to need another piece of crumb cake. This is going to go on the outside of the card, and it's 3 1/8 by 4. And some of our designer's paper, this is the Christmas Tags and More DSP. And this is 2 1/2 by 4, and then 1 3/4 by 4. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll get all of this put together. So here's our card base, the red. So this is going to be the first score mark at 2. If you have the 2 mark here, we're going to fold it in. Fold it inward, so fold it towards the right. And then this is going to be the top part of it. I should say, go ahead and do that and fold it up. And then we're going to take our 2 small little score lines. I don't know if you can see it, but again, this is the 7 1/4 and 7 3/8. And we're going to fold both of those down. So it's kind of tricky to get that other one on there, but we need that little bit of room for the mechanism. All right, let's go ahead and we'll put down the layering pieces. So this is the crumb cake that's going on the front panel. You can get that down. And then we're going to put this strip. This is the 2 1/4 by 4 designer series paper. We'll put that down. Then we're going to open this up, and we're going to put this, but we're going to put it towards the top when it's opened. So it's not going to mat all the way in that the first square there from edge to score line. We want to just kind of mat it up towards the top there, and that'll come into focus why we're doing it that way here in just a little bit. Okay. All right. So now let's do some stamping. All right. So on the crumb cake, this half inch panel, that one's actually going to be folded up, and this will, so they're both going to kind of look like a Z fold or a zigzag, you know, Z on it. When we go to stamp the Merry Christmas, we want to stamp it up towards the top here. So if you like fold that back and fold this up, you don't want to put your Merry Christmas in the middle, because when you have it pulled up, you won't see it. So we want to stamp it relatively high. We'll take our Real Red ink and again, I'm going to use the Merry Christmas, and that's from the Ornamental Christmas. Get that stamped. Oops, keep the red out. And then while we've got the red, we'll get our banner that we have. This is from the Stylish Shapes. And all of the other images are going to come from either the Gingerbread Man, which is the Season's Eatings, and then all of the other images, the little baking ones, are coming from the Homemade Treats. Again, those were all of the, like we had 4 different stamp sets that people could use and choose from. So we're just kind of showing how you can mix and match those. So we're going to put Season's Eatings down there on here. Okay. Get those out of the road. All right, let's go ahead and we'll put together our mechanism. So when this is folded up, we want to be able to know that there's a gift card in there. So we just want to take a little bite out of this flap before we put it down. It can be any punch or die size that you want. I've got the 1 7/8 circle punch. I just kind of eyeball it, and we just want to take a little bite out of it just to have a little showing that there's a gift card in there to help the recipient get it out a little quicker. So there's, well, let's go ahead and we'll put the top on. All right, so on this flap here, we are going to put some Tear and Tape down on it. Okay. So the Tear and Tape, like flap, we're going to turn this down, and it's going to go on the highest score line. So like when we were scoring, this would be the 7 3/8. So we're going to put that Tear and Tape, we're going to turn this down, and we're going to put that, we're going to center it to the best of our ability and put it right on the top edge of that score line. We don't want to put it on the score line, but just on the top edge. Okay. And so now when this is closed, that's going to pull it up. So clever. So now we can put some strong adhesive here on either end of this to close up the little pocket that's holding our gift card holder. And I like to use 1/8 of an inch Tear and Tape on here, the 2-sided tape, just because you can use the 1/4 of an inch tape, which is what I used on my my sample that I showed you. But if you do have the 1/8 of an inch, it just makes it a little easier to not be to make the pocket, the pull-up pocket. It just has that little bit of room that it doesn't catch. Because if you're not 100% careful, you know, you have to make sure that it stays within, when this is open like this, you just want to make sure that whatever adhesive you have goes, you have clearance on either side of it. That's why I like the 1/8 of an inch tape, double-sided tape. It just kind of helps it just a little bit. Okay, so that's going to form that pocket. We're just going to fold it up and close it. Okay, come in with your bone folder and give it a nice press. All right, so there you go. See how that just opens and closes so nice and smoothly. Okay, so let me just kind of show you that mechanism again, just to kind of repeat. Put the tear and tape on the top strip, you turn it down, and then it goes right above that score line. And then you put tear and tape or some strong adhesive on either side and close that up. And then this just tucks in. And if that gets out, that's okay. You just kind of open it up and tuck it back in. Love it. All right, let's go ahead and we'll do some decorating on this. Okay, let's use our Stampin' Dimensional foam dots on our banner. It says Seasons Eatings. On Tammy's, if you got the PDF, you'll notice that she's got a different label there. I did not have that die that she used to go with it. And so I just used another one that I had in, that worked just as well on it. So mine's going to look just a little different, but it's just in that component only. All right. Let me see. I've got to get some, I've got it with the bronze foil paper. Gosh, that was hard for me to get out. We're going to make a little tray on that. This little tray is actually from, I knew it wasn't bronze, wasn't right, but this is the earthen toned metallic foil paper on that. All right, so go ahead and we'll put that down because that's going to act as our baking sheet. We're just going to angle that on here. Okay, and then we've got all of these cute little baking elements that I've got ahead of time. So with crumb cake, I stamped the rolling pin image and I cut that with crumb cake. The icing bag is out of Real Red, Oven Mitt Garden Green. And then with pecan pie, we need 4 of our little gingerbread. All of these are going to get popped up. So we'll get our dimensionals. And we'll start first with our gingerbread. And I'm actually going to cut some of these in half. You could grab your mini dimensionals too, if you wanted. So I'm just going to go ahead and use a 1/2 one on these. Like I said, oops, probably recommend using a mini dimensional if you have those ready to go. And then we're just going to scatter these down and kind of like a waterfall kind of pattern down the cookie sheet. So just kind of like have one going left and one going right and kind of have them falling and looking like they're having a good time. And then we can get some full-size dimensionals. And let's put down the rolling pin first. Whoops, I think that's just the backing. And we'll get the rolling pin down. Kind of was hanging off the edge. I just kind of scooched it back. And then we'll have our icing going the other way. It's going to overlap the rolling pin. So I'm going to make sure that my dimensional is towards the bottom so that I can just overlap that like such. I like Tammy's design on that. It's like, while you have these homemade treats, like why not just, you know, make them nice and full on that. And let's get our oven mitt so we don't burn our hands as we take our cookies out of the oven. Get that. Okay, get our oven mitt on. And then I don't have them here ready to go, but you can even add 2 little candy canes on the inside. Okay, so let's get our gems on. At this class, were using a lot of the gems, which I love. It's like, why not use what we have here, right? Okay, so we're going to add a couple here. Really add some color. Put some over here. And since I don't have anything on the inside with that, so if you didn't want to do your candy canes, maybe we can put some of our gems there. So this pocket's really not designed to anchor down as far as these sides here. And so it's just a matter of putting in your gift card. And then you're all set. Let me go ahead and turn the camera around here so I can see your faces a little more, or you can see mine, I should say. Well, thanks for tuning in for week 4 of our Coast to Coast Christmas card series that, again, 6 of us demonstrators got together to bring you this card selection, the variety of styles and inspiration. And so throughout the 6-week series, you'll have 6 using the Modern Christmas Designer Series paper and 6 using the Christmas Traditions Tags and More Specialty Designer Series paper, plus focusing in on those 4 stamp sets that we talked about, which was pine trees, gingerbread man, homemade treats, and the ornamental Christmas. All right, everybody, thanks for watching and happy crafting. Bye-bye.